what you putting up is BS. So.
DeMar, I just asked Zach this, and along those lines, you guys answered the fit questions pretty loudly last season, you and Zach playing together. What does a full season under your belt do for you two entering year two as far as playing together? Especially with him healthy.
Yeah, I mean, a healthy Zach makes our lives a lot easier. A lot of my taxi. A lot of my load last year was, Zach being out, and we always talked about making things easier on one another and, being so up and down, not having each other, made it tough on both of us. So having a healthy Zach, a healthy me going into it, it just makes our job and everybody else's job around us a lot easier.
What about you guys playing together, having a whole year of experience? What can that do entering year two?
Man, it could be very, very exciting and scary for other people at the same time. Some I've been, he'll tell you how many times I talked to him this summer, just checking on him, just getting that leg back together. Because it's, I want to be with a healthy Zach. I want him healthy as well. So a full year of that is something I dream about every single night.
DeMar, you hinted at the start of the summer about wanting to take Patrick kind of under your wing this summer and spend some time with him out in LA. Were you guys able to follow through on that? And just
Yes, we did.
What was that like?
Have y'all interviewed him?
No, he has not come out
Well,
yet.
ask him.
And just what are your expectations looking like for him going into this year?
I mean, it's big. I told him that. Even during the season, before the season ended last year, I was telling him how important this summer is for him going into the season. And he didn't really understand why I was saying it, but coming into his third year, so much experience and understanding what needs to be done. It's kind of gained in your first 2 years, and you kind of let it all out going into your third year. And me telling him that wasn't to put pressure on him, just more so giving him the comfort of him understanding what he could do out there on the court. So he understands the approach that he took this summer is definitely amazing, and I'm looking forward to him explaining y'all what I put him through this summer. So,
DeMar, bear with me as I try to get through this question. You're going into year 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, it's a little unfair to expect someone of your stature to continue to evolve.
why?
Because
Who comes up with that theory? I always wonder that. Like, who comes up with these theories? You know what I mean? Like,
Father Time.
Like, it ain't like I'm 48.
Yeah.
It's
And I don't mean it like you're incapable. I mean it
Right.
like you've been successful for so long doing it this way. So with that being the case, what's a realistic expectation or a realistic area of growth for you going into your 14th season?
I think a lot of people they overthink so much, when it comes to anything in life. I think for me, all I could do is work my butt off, continue to try to get better every single moment. I don't look at it like, oh my God, I'm going into this year. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe because I'm already putting a limitation on myself unconsciously that I don't want to carry over into the next season. For me, I always look at it as long as, I got wheels on this car, I'm a ride it until these wheels don't work anymore. But while I'm driving this thing, I'm gonna figure out how to be the most effective and efficient, driving machine that I could be. I never unconsciously put those thoughts in my mind of saying like, oh, I'm going into my 14th year, maybe I'm slowing down, maybe I can't do this. I don't even think that way, and I just try to be the best player I could be. And it's crazy you even say that because I have a lot of conversation with a lot of guys that's older than me that's in the league, like Chris Paul, on being a motivation factor of this whole age thing that people love to put on people. It's like, why? As long as you take care of yourself, you work, technology is, completely different. It's not like I'm Kevin Willis out here or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, shout out Kevin Willis, but, I'm just saying, with that, it's so many ways to just take care of yourself physically, mentally, nutrition, the technology that you have, recovering, it's so many ways that you could be effective longer periods of time. You look at a guy like LeBron going into his 20th year, and it's like it's insane. You know, same conversation I had with him. It's like I love getting older just to show people like you still could get better the older that you get.
I appreciate that answer.
No, yeah, not.
From a skill standpoint, also, what's the realistic expectation for yourself?
It's always you could tighten up on everything. You know, I haven't met nobody who perfected anything in any type of craft. So with that, it's always small things. As long as you adding something small, no matter how small it is, as long as you adding some to something you already have, it's beneficial. You know, and that's how I look at it, from even just understanding games different, watching games different, watching how to score differently, how to finish, how to do different things different. There's still so many ways that this game could be figured out. You know, it was nice where it was a couple nights in a row I shot with the lights on 50% dim just to see what it was like to shoot. I'm making this shit up, but it sounds good. But it sounds good. But I'm saying you could imagine you start doing that. You shooting where it's a little dark in there, and you get comfortable shooting in that, you know. And I always just try to find different ways to just get better, just little by little, until this thing is over with. And with that, you become better than what you thought you was previously.
DeMar, you talked about to your left. You talked about time you spent with Pat this summer. How much do you value that role, taking some of these young guys under your wing and helping their game evolve?
It's amazing to me. It's an honor for those guys to even trust me, look towards me for any type of advice. You know, even this far in my career, I don't think I'm bigger or better or no more than the next guy. You know, and for guys to come and trusted me in any type of advice, to work out with me, to spend time with me, it means a lot to me. So with that, I try to give as much as I can, you know, whether if it's through conversation or through actions, and just try to show them the way so they could be better. So for me, it's an honor because I know what it was like for me when I was young, and when any older guy came to me with any type of, you know, conversation or anything that was helpful for me, I took it and ran with it.
DeMar, I'm curious your thoughts on the additions of Drummond and Dragic.
Love it. You know, both those guys, while I was in the East previously, I competed against those guys for a long, long time. I was all-star with both those guys. So it's definitely an honor to be able to compete with those guys because I know what they bring to the table. Drummond is great at what he do, and the IQ and the toughness that Dragic bring is definitely unbelievable. Definitely looking forward to, you know, this next week of practice with those guys and, you know, adding to the team.
As you were noting, a lot of observers and media members, you know, don't understand a lot of things that the players do. And there's been a lot of talk about the Eastern Conference going in, not including the Bulls. Could you tell us how you think 1 through 8 in order is now in the Eastern Conference?
You know, it's crazy. I pay attention to everything when it comes to that, and I love the competitive island that the East is on. You know, that's what brings the best out of you when you have the best around you, and you got to compete. And for me, people get so caught up in the rankings and this and that. I think for me, you put me in a room with the best is going to bring out the best in me. And that's the approach that we're going to have to take this whole season with. You know, this is the toughest the Eastern Conference has been since, you know, I've been in the lead, and that makes it exciting. Like, I can't wait to get to practice tomorrow. Like, you know, that's what it's all about. You want to compete at the highest level versus the best, and it's going to be fun. There's no nights off, and that's how you want it. You know, I don't want to go to the movies and watch 10 movies and all of them be some crappy movies. I want to see all blockbuster thrillers, if that makes sense. I just feel like I'm rambling. I miss y'all guys. That's all.
We miss you too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got tight. Oh shit, Booch, you next?